Hi, I'm Anthony Foxx with The Point, and we have a great guest with us today, Mike Wallace, NASCAR driver, NASCAR team owner, commentator on ESPN and other stations. Great to have you with us, Mike.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. And for those who are out there who are not follow NASCAR every single week, can you tell us a little bit about you, your family, how you got into racing?
Well, the greatest part, we grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. Have two other brothers, Rusty Wallace, who was just inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. My brother Kenny, who's younger than I am. Then we have children. My daughter Chrissy races, my son Matt, Rusty's son Stephen. But we grew up in St. Louis. My dad raced as a hobby. Never thought you could make a living out of it. And here we screwed everything up, and three of us are racing for a living. So, you know, St. Louis was a stick and ball sport town. It didn't have anything to do with racing, but we were the weird kids that raced race cars. And then you had to move to the southeast here to the Charlotte area, because if you wanted to drive NASCAR race cars, you had to be in this area.
It's amazing. And can you talk a little bit, we all talk about how NASCAR has such a dramatic presence in this region, but can you talk a little bit about how big NASCAR is here, the industry?
Well, the industry in whole, you know, I don't have the exact dollar numbers, but it rolls into the billions of dollars. All the race teams, all the major race teams are based within the Charlotte region. Everybody says, why does that happen? I said, well, it's like if you want to be a movie star, you got to go to Hollywood. If you want to drive NASCAR race cars or work on a team, you got to move to the Charlotte region. Everybody refers to it as Charlotte, whether it's Concord, Mooresville, wherever. And the race teams are based here. The talent pool is based here. There's some incredibly smart individuals that work on these race teams. Every weekend there's 119 different cars that compete in the three major series. So between that there's, you know, probably 135, 140 different race cars and race trucks in this region. So
that is amazing.
Yeah, it's a big number. I don't think people realize how big the business side of NASCAR is.
And speaking of the business side, what goes into putting a race team together? I mean, what do you have to do?
Well, one of the major things, we're not a franchise sport, so it's not like we buy a franchise and we're included in a television package and radio package and all that. We're independent contractors. So we first of all got to come up with capital to start a race team. We'll start at the very beginning. You know, you got to have some capital to start it. Then you got to find corporate sponsor dollars or individuals that want to invest in a team. We're racing 34 weekends a year. The NASCAR Nationwide Series that I race in, there's the Sprint Cup Series, the Nationwide, and the Truck Series. All of it carries a different price range, but it's about $4 or $5 million per year to race our cars effectively in the Nationwide Series. We got to figure out how to fund that. I always kid, we don't have the greatest business model in the world. It's not like we can go out and win all the races and make that money. So we offer a marketing advertising tool for corporations, along with they can use it for employee morale, recruitment within their companies. And once you got some money and you got the baseline of the team started, you start putting parts and pieces together, hiring better people, engineers, so forth, and then you try to go field your race car. And you got to be good enough to make the race. That's the nice thing about our sport. It's very competitive, and you're never guaranteed to be in the race.
And you were telling me one time that we only have one major Charlotte corporation that sponsors a NASCAR team.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a disappointment, to be honest, but you know, Lowe's is so big into the sport, and compliment Lowe's Home Improvement Centers for their investment in Jimmy Johnson, Hendrick Motorsports, and we have some other corporations that just kind of touch the sport. Bank of America sponsors a race, but as big as the region is, and the Charlotte area, this whole state of North Carolina, there's not a lot of involvement in NASCAR racing. You know, it's got such a huge economic impact in the community as far as employees, race teams. Go out to the Concord Airport, and it looks like a little airfield. And, you know, I mean, tons of airplanes in and out of there every weekend. And we just got to get some people in the, you know, in the area, corporate business leaders, to realize this sport and the business that we're in is very important and very viable to the Charlotte region. And think about it this way. You can use us, the race teams, to promote the city of Charlotte nationwide. We run 34 weekends a year, East Coast to West Coast, North to South. What better advertising tool do you have and marketing tools? So I love this area. I moved from St. Louis here. It's fun. It's a vibrant city. It's fun to hang out downtown. You know, it's a clean city. And heck, let's keep telling the world about it, but let's use our race cars to do it with.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about how, in your time in NASCAR and in racing, how has the business side changed? Because it's really the sport has really gone into mainstream America.
Well, the sport has, and it's been through some cycles. When we moved down here from St. Louis, the sport was on this growth cycle, just kept growing and growing and growing. And where it's changed at primarily is the cost of doing business, the cost of talent in the sport. You want good quality people, you got to pay more money. So with all these different teams, you keep escalating that. We still race at all, primarily the same racetracks. All those racetracks have been upgraded to great facilities. We don't go to racetracks. We go to event facilities where they can be, I was looking at the Charlotte Motor Speedway watching American Idol the other night, and that's where they audition for American Idol. I don't think a lot of people realize that. And so we've got beautiful facilities for corporate entertainment, racing, and everything's just more in the mainstream. Everybody knows the name NASCAR. Not that everybody's been to a race, but we race 34 weekends out of the year. I had an opportunity to go to Iraq a few years back with General Myers when he was the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, and we spent 7 days over there, and all the soldiers go, NASCAR racing, yeah, man, we get to watch that. So it made you feel good. We do something. We entertain people, but we put on a very competitive race when we're doing it.
What's the toughest part of driving? I mean, I can't imagine driving at those speeds so close together. Tell me what that's like.
Well, I think once you grow up in it, you feel you have a lot of talent. So the racing part is the enjoyable part of the sport. Go out and qualify. We start here at Daytona just shortly. Go down there and run wide open. You run 198 mile an hour and all excited. Then all of a sudden 43 cars. That's where the key comes in. It's putting all those other cars on the racetrack with you. And, it's a huge adrenaline rush. But you have to be very, very aware of the situation. You're racing your competition all the time. It's a mentally challenging sport as much as physically challenged. A lot of people go, oh, race car drivers are not athletes. Well, sit in that race car for 3.5 to 4 hours at 140 degrees inside the car, and you'll have a better respect to how much athlete we are. But proper preparation, starts at the race shops, get to the racetrack with your team, the driver does their job. Pit crew work is so important on the racetrack. We went through a cycle on pit stops where they were this number, then they got to this number and back up, and now, we're changing 4 tires in 12 seconds now again.
It's amazing.
It is amazing, and, the athletic ability for the crews are incredible anymore.
There are a lot. I've seen a movie recently called Racing Dreams that talks about the early stages of young people in racing and the karting and all that. Is that farm system still the way young people get into the sport? It
is. You have to. I have 2 children. I have 3 children, but 2 of them race. My son Matt's 17, my daughter Chrissy, who's 24. They started in here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway running a Bandolero car, which is similar to a go-kart. Go-karts, Bandoleros, something in that area, and you just keep moving up. Moving up means you win at the level you're at, the go-karts, Bandoleros, move on to maybe the legend cars in this community or late model stock cars around the country, and you hope to run well enough that somebody recognizes you and says, he's got talent. And there are people out there like the farm teams and Major League Baseball. There's a scout sitting somewhere watching kind of what's going on. And if you want to expedite that program, you want to speed past worrying about that scout finding you, is find a marketing partner that you can bring along with you that can help expedite your rise to the top, as I say.
Gotcha. What more can we do as a community? You alluded to this earlier. Given the incredible economic impact NASCAR has on Charlotte and the region, how do you think we can embrace it more?
Well, I think like you did with the DNC when it was in town. You exposed it. Everybody heard about it. Everybody knew something about it, knew it was coming, whether whatever. NASCAR racing is a great business and a great sport. Every corporation, every company, a lot of individuals in this region have a value of being in the sport. And I think what's misconceived, it's just, oh, it's too expensive to get involved in. No, you can get involved at almost any level you would like to. And it works great for a multitude of different things, not just branding, marketing, advertising. Those are the simple parts we say. There's some huge corporations in this town that can use employee morale programs, employee recruitment, such as you expose Charlotte. People hear about company names, they go, I want to check that out, I want to hear, why would I want to go to work for them? Mm-hmm. So the recruitment side, you can use the program for customer and vendor relations, and I think it's really exposing the CMOs, CEOs of corporations, chief financial officers to go, yes, it costs a lot of money, but there's a great return on it. You know, what difference does it make how much it is as long as you make a return on your investment? And that's the one message that would be fun to get out and be able to sit down with corporate business leaders and go, look, you're sitting right on top of one of the biggest gold mines around, one of the greatest marketing tools there is. If you read Forbes every year, it says NASCAR racing is one of the best bangs for the buck. You know, it's a statement every year in there. And I think just getting exposed, let people really, corporate business leaders know what it's all about. We got the race fans. This is the area, and that's why everybody ended up down here. The race fans are here, and the race fans are nationwide, worldwide anymore. And so I think if you talking it up good for us and other people, and you know, the sport has a lot of room to grow. We've got the NASCAR Hall of Fame right here in Charlotte. You know, beautiful facility. Every year we have the Hall of Fame inductees. There's a lot of things going on here, and we just got to get the word out to everybody.
You got it.
Yeah.
Mike, it's great being with you. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
You got it. This is Anthony Foxx with The Point. We'll see you next time.